this is OB today. Fun stuff. And there's the beautiful ocean. Hello, Yoga Hippie here. Welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber, and welcome if you've never been here before. My name is Kristina and I live in my Prius and I travel around. I'm currently in Ocean Beach. I've been here about a year, and so I wanted to talk about my journey and what's happening because I'm making some changes. So I'm sitting out by the beach. I'm a little bit distracted by all the things going on around me, but I'll try to keep my focus here. A little bit about me. I was born in Memphis, but was uprooted to Dallas for 3 years when I was married, and then my ex-husband took a job in Kansas City and dragged me. He dragged me out there. I didn't really want to go there. So I had a bad feeling about all of it, and I predicted all these things that were going to happen that actually happened. And so it was not a good experience. But I was, for a lot of different reasons, forced to live in Kansas City in various parts for 20 years. So a little bit about Kansas City. It's a beautiful place. And lots of really cool people there. And it's really one of those little sleeper towns, you know, like people don't understand. They think Kansas City and they automatically think of Kansas. It looks more like Louisville to me. Think southern Missouri. That's what it looks like. Kansas. Sorry, this guy's walking by in his robe. Oh, man. Kansas, like, the Kansas side is really different. So there's like a whole rivalry between Kansas City, Kansas, and then the suburbs of Kansas, which is where my kids were raised, in this little town called Mission, Kansas, which is just outside. They lived in Overland Park and Mission while they were growing up, which is like 10 minutes away from downtown in Kansas City, Missouri. So literally the state line runs right through this whole area. And I guess they've been filming Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, is that what that's called? Anyway, that show has been being filmed there, and it's sort of put Kansas City on the map. And it's a little hipster town, you know. Lots of great places to eat. But it's got two problems. Two major problems. The weather there sucks in the wintertime. I mean, it's just terrible. It's fucking terrible. Excuse my French, but it is just the worst. I can't stand to be cold. And it just, like, blizzards. They have blizzards. I mean, it's not like Massachusetts, right? But it's freaking pretty bad. Even the people in Massachusetts, because I've met a lot of people in Massachusetts, even those people are like, oh, yeah, it's pretty brutal in Kansas City. I mean, it's not like 25 below with, you know, sidewalk tunnels of snow and all that kind of thing, but it's freaking cold, and the wind blows quite a bit, and it just cuts through you. It's like, oh, you know. So, and I felt like I didn't like the weather from about October, middle of September, until about parts of April, and May were nice. But I really didn't enjoy the weather there until June. And then sometime late in July, it was miserable there because it was just so hot. So really, you just had a few months of good weather there. And so I really hated the weather there, mostly just the winter. And I was just cold all the time, and I just couldn't believe how cold I was. It snowed there one year, May 2nd. That's just crazy. And there's no beach. And it's like potentially a 2-day drive to a beach. I just can't do it. I couldn't live there, you know. So I was grounded there, not by my choice, but because of circumstances, and I raised my kids there, and I'm glad that I did. I'm really, really glad that I raised my kids there. But My mom had instilled this wanderlust in me because she took me on countless vacations as a kid all over the U.S., mainly out west. And I saw a lot of America growing up, and I didn't really appreciate it until I was older. And now I'm like busy going to revisit all these places and hike them because we didn't do hiking. And I love to get outside and, explore. So I had set this goal, and I'd always want to live by the beach because I just loved the ocean from the day I ever went. There's something about the ocean that just calms me down. It relaxes me. I feel my forehead just sort of melt when I get in front of it. It's just really amazing. So I knew that I wanted to live by the beach. So I set this goal like 8 years before I could leave Kansas City to live by the beach and to travel. So that's what I did. I left Kansas City, shut down my business. I had a very successful massage practice in Kansas City. I was self-employed and had built my business through word of mouth. And, I also taught yoga, and I was making, yoga is a hard business to make money at. And honestly, I've never really considered it something that I was trying to make a ton of money at, but it's good to be compensated for your efforts. And I was making pretty good money teaching yoga. I mean, I'm making what I make right now at this day spa, or I was before I cut my hours. I mean, that's what I was making, teaching yoga. It was pretty good money. But I had built up my clientele, in my classes because I had been teaching yoga for a while. And so anyway, I was doing really well and making plenty of money. And but I just couldn't handle living there anymore because the winters just made me want to kill myself. So, and I never envisioned staying there, from the time I got there, I knew I would leave. So I fulfilled my parental duties, and then I left. So I left and I came to San Diego, and I moved to Pacific Beach, and took a job at this little place, and I had like all these massive lessons to learn, and it was good, but it was really hard, and it was like a massive struggle for me. But it eventually led me to Therapy Day Spa, which is where I've been working for on and off for 3 years now, over 3 years. And it's a delightful little place in Ocean Beach, California, which is this little beach town in San Diego. So long story short, I took off. I went all these places before, so I lived here for 10 months, and then I hit the road with my daughter. We went on a 3-week road trip. We backpacked down into the Grand Canyon. It was super rad, and we had so much fun, and it was really hard. And and then we went just through Sequoia National Park. We went to a bunch of, I think it was 8 national parks that we traveled through and camped at, and this spurred my daughter's lifestyle. She's a part-time to full-time RVer. She lives in an RV with her boyfriend and his dog. She has her own RV, but she's going to sell it because they've just been traveling in his. So anyway, that's really been fun, so when this trip ended, my son graduated high school. He had moved in with his dad in the middle of high school, and so we went and saw him graduate at the end of this 3-week trip. Went back to Kansas City for a minute, and then I left 9 days later for Panama. And I took off with a one-way ticket, a job on a sailboat, and $700. So it was pretty crazy, and I just didn't care. And I got off this guy's sailboat. I was supposed to work on a sailboat for 3 months, and I got off his boat in 10 days and didn't have a job, had $400, no plane ticket back. It was freaking crazy. I made a new friend, one of the yoga teacher that had joined me on the boat. We left. It was mutiny. We left on the same day together. It was my 10th day and her 3rd. I guess it was technically the morning of her 4th day, but anyway, I looked for a job in Panama, but I had very blonde hair, and they would have gotten fined. I mean, I used to be a bartender, so I was looking for a bartending job. And anyway, I wasn't supposed to work there. But I had a delightful time, and I ended up being able to go visit my friend my dear friend that I went to massage school with. And this is the thing, like everything's so serendipitous, right? Like I just didn't worry because I had been struggling to take care of my kids for so long, and was always worried about money, and before I was doing better in my business. And I just always like so stressed out about all of it. And it's a lot of responsibility to take care of two kids, and then I was self-employed, and I felt like a badass at the end of all of that, right? Because I took care of everybody on my income, and I was a hard-working lady. So anyway, it's good, and I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad I had that experience, even though it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done to date. But the stark comparison, I found myself in Panama, and my friends were like, one of my friends was like, "You're not the same." Like, the old Kristina would have been really upset and crying, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine, no big deal." Like, because I just had me to worry about, right? But the thing is, I kept running out of money on my travels, so I went to Panama, and I got down $100, and my friend Joy just happened to have bought a coffee house. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. She had bought a coffee house, and she is a massage therapist, and anyway, she had all these people, and she was like, "Look, you can massage them. I'll introduce you to them at the coffee house." And so that's what I did. I made enough money to take care of myself while I was there and buy my plane ticket back to Kansas City for September. I worked at a trade on a resort, and went and worked for this crotchety old guy who owns a resort off of the it's on an island near Boca Chica in Panama. It was ultimately, overall, like a fantastic experience, like super amazing. Like, I pet a deer. There were there were deer wandering around, and one of them would let you pet them. And anyway, super magical fairyland place, jungle, monkeys, and the staff that worked there, there were like local Panamanian men, and they were so sweet. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have got them and Google Translate. I wouldn't have been able to get off the island, because essentially I ended up leaving in secret and not telling the owner. I just jetted because he was mean to me, and anyway, that's a whole nother story that I'm not telling right now. But anyway, I did have a great time, but I would never do that trade again. And what I learned was I'm not doing trades, because I had a trade worked out with the guy on the sailboat, but I was supposed to make some money. And anyway, that guy was screwy and crazy too. And I have stories for days about that guy. And he has like a terrible reputation. And anyway, be careful if you do trades. So long story short, I kept running out of money. I went to Mexico a bunch of times, and then I came back to Kansas City and San Diego to give massages to people and visit in between all these travels. And then I lived in Hawaii for 3 months, and I couldn't ever get a massage license out there, but that's what spurred me living in my car, was my experience in Hawaii and realizing that I needed to travel and I wanted to road trip. And so I bought this Prius specifically to road trip in it, and then I ended up living in it because it just made sense, right? It's not a bad deal, and I come and go so much. Why have a place to rent? I think that's going to be a long-term goal of mine. I'd like to have an Airbnb that I can rent out when I'm gone. But I'm at least a year or two away from that. So anyway, van first. That's what was on my list first. But I'm in no hurry about all of that. So that brings me to last year, where I parked myself in Ocean Beach for a year so that I could take a lot of training so that I would stop running out of money and be able to sustain my travels more. So now we're at the end of that journey. And as soon as that was over, I started taking off again on more road trips. And I felt like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be free and independent and not work for somebody else anymore. And so I'm quitting Therapy Day Spa on my last day there is the 31st of January. And I'm taking off on the 1st, early in the morning. I am headed to Fort Lauderdale. So I'm going to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And sorry, I got a phone call. anyway, I'm taking off there, and I'm going to pursue my dreams of being independent, and I'm going to be there till the latter part of May, and I'm going to offer my new skill sets. So energy healing, Reiki Tumo, sound healing, and specifically a class that's focused on self-care and sound healing, integrating those together and teaching people how to take care of themselves with simple things like tapping and self-massage. And anyway, the classes can be different, and I'm just hoping to get on the schedule while I'm in town, and also connect with the yoga community, maybe teach something at the beach, offer some sound healing out there. So I'm pretty freaking excited, and I'm taking off on a wild, crazy adventure, and at the end of May, I plan both of my kids will be in Oregon, and I'm turning 50 on June 3rd. So I have some big plans for my birthday this year. But for my actual birthday, I am going to drive from Fort Lauderdale to Oregon, and I'm pretty excited about that. That drive is going to be fantastic. And so I'm probably going to leave middle to end of May so that I can take some time and go hiking, and it'll still be a little cold out west, but it'll be awesome. And I'm going to go to Portland and Salem, Oregon, and see my kids and celebrate my birthday. Jet down to what do you call it, Santa Cruz, ride the Big Dipper, the Giant Dipper, whatever it's called, and then go through Big Sur, and I want to backpack Big Sur, and then just drive down the coast the rest of the way back to Ocean Beach. So we'll see what happens, and I have some fun plans. So I just wanted to give a little update and talk about pursuing your dreams, and even though sometimes they take a long time, like this has been an ongoing dream of mine for the traveling thing my whole life, but I, set this goal 8 years before I could do it. So that was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 years ago that I set this goal to live by the beach, and I've been doing it, man. And, it's been a crazy ride, but I just keep going with the flow and trust in the universe to take care of each step that I take, and direct me in the way to go, and know and believe that everything's the way it needs to be right now and is exactly perfect. And let go of fear, because fear is a nasty liar and it just holds everybody back. So gotta let that shit go, and follow your heart and do what you love, and find a way, even if it takes a long time, to make it happen. So that's all I'm going to say for today. I hope you're having a wonderful 2020, and I'm pretty excited about my new plans. And I'm going to go somewhere where it's warm. It's a little chilly. Like this morning, it was 48 out here in the beautiful San Diego. But my day in the life video has just not happened because I've been sick, and then I was gone, and the video was terrible, and so I was going to have to redo it. So I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm sorry. But I will hopefully bring you some fun videos, and just wanted to share what was going on. All right. I hope you have a great day, and peace.